Hello there everybody, this is Adrian Kingsley Hughes of ZDNet's Hardware 2.0, and what I'm going to be doing today is showing you how I go about destroying a dead hard drive. This is a Seagate Ironwolf NAS 12 terabyte drive, a lot of capacity. Unfortunately this thing was in an enclosure, the enclosure died and the drive died. I'm not entirely sure what went on there, but basically this drive has a lot of data on it, but the drive's dead, so there's no way for me to use software or hardware, at least computer hardware, to come in there and destroy the data that's on there. The data is encrypted, so in many ways I could just take this drive, toss it into the recycling, and I'm pretty convinced that the data is not going to go anywhere. But for the idea of getting completely having peace of mind, let's make sure this drive and the data on it can't be fixed so somebody can get access to the data on it. Now if this drive was functional, I'd plug it into a computer and use something like DBAN to wipe it, or I might use a hardware solution for wiping a drive, like a drive eraser. There's a lot of solutions out there. Basically plug them in, wipe it, and then many minutes or hours later you have a completely wiped drive. Problem is with this, data on it is inaccessible, the drive doesn't work. So I have to resort to more unorthodox hardware methods of deleting the data. Back in the old day, one of my preferred methods was to take a 6-inch nail and bang a few holes in the drive. I can still do that, but it's quite noisy. Nails can be not what they used to be, and I've had a couple of nails snap. And also there's always this risk of banging your hand with a hammer, and also it's very noisy. And so I've decided today I'm going to show you a more civilized solution where I'm going to use a drill with a high-speed seal drill bit on it. This is I think this one's 6mm, which is about 1/4 inch. You want it to be big enough that it's not going to snap when you're doing this, but you want it small enough that you're not spending an awful lot of time gouging a big hole and removing a lot of metal, which is going to take a lot of time. When you're doing this kind of stuff, safety is paramount. You get one pair of eyes, so protect them, because you lose them, there's no solution for that these days. Also, I like to wear gloves because there's a lot of spinning metal, spinning parts. You don't want to get your hand caught in these. I'm also going to put this into a vise. You can do it on a surface, pressing down into it. A vise makes the whole thing safer. It also makes filming a lot easier, which is why I'm using the vise today. And basically that's about it. I'm going to drill 3 holes into this. First one's going to be about here. Next one's going to be here. Next one's going to be about here. There's no real rocket science to how drilling these holes happen. You're just drilling holes in the thing. I'm also going to make sure that this board is dead. Now, I'm convinced that there's nothing going to be stored on these RAM chips in here. But for complete peace of mind, let's just destroy that too, because we're just making a video on it anyway. And destroying dead things is fun before they go in the recycling. So here we are. We've got the patient or victim clamped up in the vise. That basically just stops it spinning around. And heavy bits of lumps of metal spinning around on the end of your drill can cause a lot of damage, so be careful about that if you are doing it without being in a vise. It also makes it just easier to record, so I can do this without getting too much in the way. And then basically once you've got that, there really isn't that much science to it. I'm going to put the first hole about here, and we'll see how this goes. So there we have it. 3 holes drilled in, all the way through. You can hear on the inside that the platters, they're completely destroyed, and the holes all the way through. That one up there has gone through the circuit board. I'm probably just going to put another one through the circuit board, just because. Let's put it there. Seems like there's a chip or something, like that. There we go. I'm pretty convinced now this drive is dead, finished, history. And we can basically put it in the recycling, job's done. So that's just one way to destroy a dead drive. There's lots of different ways out there, mostly only limited by your imagination. That's quite a surgical, quick, clean, probably one of the safest physical methods of deleting it. You could go more medieval on it if you really wanted, have a bit of fun, but if you've got a lot of drives to do, you want to be able to do it quite quick. This is a quick method. It's clean, there's not that much cleanup afterwards, and then you're done. Now I know some people would really like to see inside of this drive, and they probably wouldn't forgive me if I just ended the video there. Getting in these drives is quite a contract, because there's this plate stuck on top of the drive, maybe for heat dissipation, maybe for extra sealing, maybe to just stop people tampering with the screws underneath. So in order to get into the screws underneath, you have to peel this plate off, which is incredibly well stuck down, and it's actually easy to just pry out the whole plate with it once you get going. I drilled a little hole in the corner to give me a place to start. So let me reveal the insides in a moment, and I'll come back. 15 minutes later and I'm in, and getting this plate off, it put on a heck of a fight. This top part is stuck onto the top of the drive incredibly well. It's so hard to peel it off in order to get access to the screws that I ended up, well, as you can see, it put up quite a fight, but I won. These drives here, they're server drives, and they have helium gas in them, so the sealing that they use in this drive is actually quite impressive. These are incredibly well-made drives, as you would expect, and generally have quite a long life. This one, unfortunately, experienced an early death. Anyway, if we look inside, you can see the platters are destroyed. We put in a hole by here, by here, and by here. And these platters have all sort of moved around now. They're pretty well destroyed. The head's close to it. So these drives are history now. So this one can be safely put to recycle, and hopefully it'll come back as something useful again. So thank you very much for tuning in and watching me destroy this dead hard drive. This one now I'm convinced is ready to go into the recycling. I'm pretty sure if I'd only just drilled the holes in, this job would have only taken about a minute, apart from finding all the tools. So thank you very much for joining me. This has been Adrian Kingsley Hughes for CDNet's Hardware 2.0. See you again soon. Bye.